Hello? Anybody? Alley Cat, welcome back. Itty bitty. Itty bitty. Sorry, I have an ornery cat. Itty bitty. Come here, Chloe. Come here, Chloe. Get up there. Sorry, guys. I have a cat attacking another cat. Come here. Get up here. Come on. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. Go on. There's my cat right on schedule. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. Hello, hello. Clay Bear, go lay down. Hello, hello. Thanks for the likes, Bonnie. I appreciate that. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. I have a cat attacking another cat. Mississippi. Do you have a name, Mississippi? If you're not familiar, my name is Renee. I'm from South Dakota. Welcome. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. Terry from Mississippi. Welcome. Thank you, Kathy, for sharing the live. I appreciate that. I had a cat hair or something. New York. Welcome. Cheryl, thank you for the badge. Goatee Guy, thank you for the badge. I appreciate that. I'm a few minutes early tonight. That rarely happens. Usually I'm a little late. I'm just going to let a few more people hop on since I'm a little early, and then I'll get started. Thank you for the badge. Is it Oscar? If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. Thank you for all the likes. I appreciate that. Hey, Wayne. How are you? Cold is cold here. Thanks for the badges, Wayne. Cooperstown, New York. Welcome. Thank you for the badge. Fort Worth, Texas. Chris, welcome. Heather from New York. Welcome. Michigan, welcome. Thank you for the badge. Kathy from Alabama, welcome. There's my cat right on schedule. Thank you for the badge. Brian from Florida, hey, how are you? Long time no see. Terry from Florida, welcome. Thank you for the badge. Precious, I didn't catch that. Terry and Precious Diamond something. Okay, guys, I'm going to let a few more hop on. Hi, how are you? I'm doing well, thank you. It's cold there, too. What do I discuss on here? Well, I'm going to get to that in about 2 seconds here. Just waiting for a few more people to hop on. I don't like to repeat myself a lot, even though the poor people that get on all the time get to hear the same thing. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for the badge also. Okay, well, we've got a few on, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. So if you're not familiar, my name is Renee. I'm from South Dakota. Welcome. I'm glad to have you here. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are and where you're from. So I started my TikTok in March of last year. Thank you for all the badges and all the likes, guys. I appreciate that. The reason I started my TikTok is on September 14th of 2023 for TikTok purposes. My husband unalived himself. You're checking flights? Okay. Hi, Christine from Ohio. Welcome. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. Thank you. I appreciate those sorries too. And so when my husband passed, I discovered that I have abilities to talk to my guides. Porky, thank you for the follow. And so in that process of talking to my we look alike, did you steal my photo? Do I fly first class? I don't know. I've only flown twice in my life. Well, technically 4 times. And never first class, no. So yeah. What is going on? Gotta love the trolls, guys. Sorry. And so I started my TikTok because I discovered through all that my purpose was to help other people to deal with their loss and their trauma. And so that's why my guides had me start my TikTok, is so I could have a community for people to come that needed help with loss or trauma or just needs a friend and they're alone and need uplifting. So this is what my page is about. Usually when I do a live, I have a topic from my guides. Tonight's topic is we're going to talk about fear, the different types of fear. So if you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. Thank you. So when my husband passed, I deep dived into meditation to help heal myself. And the first message I ever got was, what heals you will heal others. And so they slowly breadcrumbed me from there. My guides did to figure out what my purpose was. Yeah, they stole my photo. I don't know what's going on. Barb from Tampa, welcome. We'll just ignore them. If they don't go away, I'll have to block them. Oh, I am so sorry. Do you want to talk about it? That's what we talk about here. I always figure the conversation goes where it's supposed to go. So I'm trying to keep up with the chat, guys. So let's see. I'm not sure. Do you have a name? Teach at the beach. Do you have a name of where you're from? What would you do if your partner cheated and the STDs lead you to developing terminal brain cancer? Oh, that's a doozy. Ooh, I'm not sure. Sadly, forgive them, because forgiveness is for you, not for them. That's the first thing I would say. Pray for your ability to forgive them. I know somebody that, in my life that had gotten an STD and then didn't know it for a long time and then was never able to conceive children. So obviously not the same thing, death, children, but that's a huge loss, right? Same with me when I lost my sister. Okay, can you elaborate? Is it Laura? Elaborate for me. Barb. Okay. Did you tell me that already, Barb? I apologize. My dad is not doing well and health wise either. I'm so sorry, guys. Florida. Thank you for the follow, Adam. Yes. Okay. Sorry about that. So if you guys want to talk about that, we can do that, and then we can hop on my subject later. It's up to you. We're not shy here. Just know that. I only have 2 rules that I ask, is that everybody be kind. And then the other one is we don't talk politics here. My page is not about that. There's a million other pages out there you can do that with. And I always say his reptile brain is at full speed. Oh boy. I also had spiritual awakening when I lost my sister, able to do mediumship and communicate more. Oh, okay. Well, thank you for elaborating on that. I appreciate that. That's awesome. Hey, James. Oh, that's not good. My name is Ashley from Nevada. I have a lot of fear, the unknown right now. That's crazy, because I was just talking to my friend earlier before we got on my live. And pipe in anytime. We're not shy around here. The only thing I was going to mention real quick is I am on my journey of life where I am and you are where you are. And none of us are going to agree on everything. So we agree to disagree here. And all I ask is, if you can't do that, hop off and keep scrolling. Cindy, I am good. I am well. Thank you. How are you? Got some neck and some headache tonight, but we're going to work through it. You're from Virginia. Okay. Well, glad to have you. Wouldn't be a typical night if I couldn't talk. But you guys can pipe in anytime. I'm just going to kind of do my thing, and you're welcome to talk about your loss or what's going on in your life if that's what's happening. Where did I was going somewhere with this. I apologize. Lost my train of thought already. Sorry. I don't think well when I have a headache. Let's see. Oh, fear of the unknown. That's where I was going with that. So I was telling my friend my topic tonight, and I was reading off the list of what I had, of different fears. And she's like, what about the fear of the unknown? And I was like, yeah, that's a good one. I don't know. I didn't think of that. So I'm glad that you brought that up, Ashley. And you're welcome to talk about that. And I could share a few thoughts on that myself, actually. Fear of the unknown. Right. Sorry. Hi from Georgia. You're afraid of being alone. Yeah, I understand. I did everything with my husband, and we were together for 32 years. So when he left, my whole world crumbled. So I can totally relate to that. Let's see. I don't know what's happening here. Sorry. I'm getting... yes, I do mediumship also. Yes. Thank you. I appreciate that. I've dealt with crippling fear of being ridiculed. Wow, you guys are coming up with so many more than what I thought. EMDR therapy has helped. Okay, I'm not aware of that, but it's something to look into. Patrick, hello. Where are you from, Patrick? Oh, thank you for the hugs. I appreciate that. Thank you for the follows and all the hearts, guys. So yeah, so like I said, you can pipe in anytime. You're never interrupting me. That's what my page is about. So I was going to start off with the first one, since let's go to the fear of the unknown first. That's what I had last, since that's what my friend and I talked about. I can definitely relate to that. Like I said, hi from Michigan, welcome. When my husband passed, my whole world of 32 years just poof, gone, crumbled. Nothing resembled my life after that moment. And if you missed the very beginning, my husband unalived himself for TikTok purposes. And so when he did that, 32 years just gone. Everything imploded. The only thing that was normal of my life was my children and my apartment. All my earthly possessions that we had together just suddenly disappeared. Because everything was in his name. And so I basically had nothing. He left me with not much of anything except for maybe some debt. So if you're not familiar with my story, he didn't leave me in a great spot financially. And so therapy was out to deal with the loss. And I'm the circle that don't fit in the square. And so I knew that group therapy was not going to work for me because I'm the unique girl. And so after I decided I was going to stay on this planet, because at first I wasn't going to, and I have to say that for TikTok purposes or they'll shut me down. And by the way, we're talking about sensitive content. So if you can't take that, please don't report me. Just keep scrolling. And so that's when I decided, okay, I have to find a way to deal with this loss and the loss of my whole life, basically, because we were together since I was 16 years old. And so I deep dived into meditation. Like I said, that's when I discovered that I had these abilities to talk to my guides. They started talking to me. They were actually talking to me before that. I just didn't know what was happening and I wasn't acknowledging it, actually. And then I also deep dived into journaling and other things that helped me cope with my loss. And like I said, the first message I ever got was, what heals me will heal others. And that was my first breadcrumb to figure out what my purpose on this planet was. So if you're just hopping on, tell us who you are, where you're from. My name is Renee. I'm from South Dakota. Welcome. That's scary. Me. Which part, nature, beauty? Can you elaborate on that comment? Let's talk about, the fear of the unknown, right? And so there, like I said, that was very scary to me because for months I kept telling everybody, right? I was straddling two worlds. I had one foot in the old world that no longer existed, right? And one foot in the unknown, basically. I didn't know what my future held because I'd never been there before, not without my husband and not without the life that I was living. And so I totally relate of the fear of the unknown. Totally relate to that. Appalachian, New York, welcome. Is it Scott? Glad to have you here. Hi, Renee. So glad you're still here. I needed to hear your story. Oh, thank you, Kelly. I hope it helps somebody. You know, that's the thing. That's the whole reason I'm here. If I can help somebody, I'm getting chills, and I'm gonna try not to cry. If I can help somebody, and hopefully somebody never has to go through some of the pain that I went through, then everything that I went through is worth it, right? I'm not gonna cry. I lost my son. It's so difficult to believe. I am so sorry for your loss. You're in the right place. This is what we talk about here. How long ago did you lose your son? Have you been on here before? And you're sure welcome to just pipe in and talk about what you need to talk about. Know also that if you've talked to me, I'm going to ask you questions. You never have to answer, obviously. Sorry, I'm trying to keep up with the chat. Thank you for that. Thank you for the hugs. Thank you. I appreciate that. Aw, you guys are so sweet. Thank you for the follow. 2 months. Okay. So I'm assuming your son, I understand I buried a child also. You're not dealing well, or you're not dealing at all. Am I correct in saying that? I feel the same, helping others with heartbreak. I know too much, unfortunately. I know how much. Oh, thank you for that, Jim. You get half a heart. I can't quite do it with my one finger because I am holding my phone. I'm going to work on doing a tripod in the future. It helps heal. Exactly. And thank you for the badges, everybody. Wayne, Laura. And thank you for that heart, Jim. I appreciate it. I just look at it this way too, right? Obviously, I know it's my purpose. And if you've never heard my story before, I think it's on a live. If you go to my YouTube, which is Scorpio Medium, I upload all my lives over there. I have a live where I talk about the last day that I got the last breadcrumb to figure out what my purpose was and why I was here. And that morning I had went into, this is kind of off this topic real quick, but so I had went into meditation, and when I came, I didn't get anything in meditation that morning. And when I came out of meditation, I received a song, If I Could Turn Back Time, from my husband. And at that moment in time, it hit me that we couldn't turn back time. He couldn't turn back time. I couldn't turn back time. That I had to, you're trying to understand. Okay, well, you're in the right place and we're going to help you the best we can, okay? That I couldn't turn back time, and neither could he, because sadly and unfortunately, I had to walk through everything exactly how I walked through it, and I had to go through everything the way I went through it in order to be able to help other people. Does that make sense? And that's when I discovered that, okay, this is my purpose, and this is, like I said, I had to go through everything I went through, so that way I can be here to help other people. Thank you for the follow, Nature Beauty. And like I said, you're in the right place, and we're going to help you step by step, one foot in front of the other, okay? Jim, thank you for that. I appreciate it. Thank you for the hugs again. You're so welcome. Like I said, you're in the right place. This is exactly what this community is about. Thank you for all the hearts, guys. I appreciate that. If you're just hopping on, tell us who you are, where you're from. And if you're not familiar, my name is Renee. I'm from South Dakota. Welcome. Lulu, thank you for that. Okay, guys. So, fear of the unknown, like I said, I totally understand. I'm going to kind of go over those, and then we can talk about ways that we can deal with them, okay? So, another one is fear of loss. And loss can be of many things, right? Loss of death, Sorry, my phone's always dinging. Loss from divorce, breakup, separation, or in my case, you know, my whole life. There again, my life story fits into the loss also. Everything just disappeared, right? So you have the fear of loss. We have fear of moving forward. Sometimes we don't know how to move forward. I would assume nature, beauty, one. Fear of moving forward, one, without your son. Not sure how to move forward without your son. I totally relate to that. Like I said, I wasn't sure I was going to stay on this planet. And my daughter was my wake-up call. And she said to me one day, she said, Mom, you understand that your life is worth living, right? And until that moment, I didn't feel that way, right? And I still didn't know who I was as a person yet. I didn't love me as a person. And so I was just starting that journey after my husband passed. Everyone has a purpose and everything is used for a purpose. Yes, I agree completely. I call it, this is the school of life, right? We're here to learn lessons. That's what I believe. Thank you for the badge. I appreciate that. Psychic. Sometimes I'm still learning to tap into that ability. I'm more of a medium. When I was younger, preteen, I had dreams that would come true. But I have very heightened intuition, and I have abilities to talk to my guides, like I said, and I am a medium. So if you're just hopping on, tell us who you are, where you're from. And then let's see, did we talk about fear of death? Right? That's a big one for people, right? They don't know what's on the other side, so they have a fear of that. I so wish I would have kids to keep my mind busy and give me a purpose. Will to keep going. It's so hard. Well, guess what? You found all of us. You found me. And you're so welcome to come here and be here, and we'll keep you going, and we'll help you, you know, with your purpose and where you're going, if that helps at all, because that's what my community is about. So I understand it's hard. I don't have a huge support system other than you guys here and my kids, and I have a few friends. I don't have a huge, basically my husband's family after 32 years abandoned me after my husband passed. So I didn't have a huge support system either. So, well, I'm glad that means a lot, because I mean it. I don't say anything I don't mean. So you are welcome to be here. I try to go live. I'm going to try and change my live schedule, guys. I'm not sure how I'm going to make this work. I want to be live more on my YouTube, because I have a lot of followers over there that aren't on TikTok. So I'm going to try, because y'all know that I'm technologically challenged. I'm going to try and figure out how to go live at the same time here and there, and then work that all into my schedule. Exactly. We're here to support each other. That's what I believe life is about, right? To learn lessons. We're here to love one another and to support one another. And that's what life is about. So you're exactly correct. Jen, my girl, I miss you. How are you? This is my friend Jen. I met her in the Pacific Northwest when my husband and I lived up in North Idaho. She's one of the most amazing women ever. How are you, Jen? I miss you. I miss it there terribly. I'm going to get back there, though, someday. You're going to make me cry. Sorry, guys. Thanks for that, Jen. Sorry, guys. I don't know where that came from. I don't have any Kleenexes out here. I miss you a bunch. Okay, no more. Okay, guys. So yeah, so the next one we're going to talk about fear of death, because that's a huge one. Thank you for that, guys. I appreciate that so much, and all the hearts. And then we're also going to talk about fear of love. People have the fear of loving or to fall in love again, right? In my case, is it scary, right? You know, when you've been with somebody for 32 years and that's all you know, right? It can be scary. Or, you know, you fall in love and somebody hurts you. They're happy tears, I promise. I just miss you a lot and I miss it there. So, okay guys, so we're going to talk about that. It is scary. It's so scary. The world can be scary, right? I was just hurt very, very badly. I'm assuming we're talking about the loved one. Jonathan, where are you from? I didn't bring any Kleenexes out because I didn't know I was going to cry tonight. Sorry about that. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. If you're talking about the love part, yeah, that can be very scary. And it you know, but you got to just keep going, right? Like what I said, after my husband died, you know, you just one foot in front of the other. After 1 year relationship, she was my soulmate. Pittsburgh. Welcome, Jonathan from Pittsburgh. And I'm sorry to hear about that. And that would also fall into fear of loss from a breakup, right? So, and fear of probably falling in love again. So, let's go back and talk about the fear of loss. Finding trust in love again. That's tricky. It is very tricky, isn't it? And for me, it was even more tricky because, like I said, I hadn't been in the dating world for 32 years. So, you know, the last time I went on a date, we still had phones on the walls, you know. Dating became a completely different world. We didn't have online and all that. I cried, so anxious and just miserable. Well, I'm so sorry about that. Please don't cry and don't be anxious. We're here for you and we will help you every step of the way, okay? So, for all of you that are on here, so you know, I am here Sunday through Wednesday night. And I'm usually here about 7 o'clock Mountain Time. So you can always find my community here. If you haven't noticed, I have a group of great people that are on all the time. So we're here for you, Jonathan. And you can always message me too and we can talk, okay? All right? Because it is tricky. It's a tricky world out there. And just know that your heart will heal. My heart was broken into a million pieces. And it is healing. Slowly, right? Thanks for the likes, Jen. I appreciate that. But your heart will heal again. And if it's meant to be, you will find love again. Okay? Anybody else have anything else they want to say? Keep talking, guys, because that's what this is about. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. You're so very welcome. That's what we're here for. Exactly what we're here for and what we're talking about. Thank you for the follow. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. If you're not familiar, my name is Renee. I'm from South Dakota. Welcome. So there's a big one that I want to go to. I want to hop to real quick, and I want to talk about the fear of death. When I was younger, I had the fear of death. I have always had faith, but I didn't have, my faith wasn't as strong until I became more of an adult, right? And so I was always scared of death. And I know a lot of people, that's a big one for people. And I just want to put some people's minds to ease because, you know, as a medium, and now when I channel people on the other side, you know, like I say, 95 to 99% of the time, the people that come through to me are coming through to me to say, hey, I'm at peace. I'm in a better place. I'm okay, right? And what we talk about all the time on here is that basically you're just moving from this earth to another place, right? The only difference is, and I know Wayne's on here and he hates it when I say this, but we lose our meat suit, right? We lose our body. Our physical body disappears. Our soul carries on. But your world continues, right? You just continue in what you would call a different world. And so don't be scared of death. The world has brainwashed us to believe that, if you don't live this way or do this or don't do that, you're gonna, don't listen to that, right? As long as you're not out there raping and murdering and pillaging and whatever, you're going to go on and you're going to be in another world and you're going to be just fine. Okay? So I just want to put some people's Wayne, LOL. He hates it when I say that. I fear death for my relatives. Why do you say that? Like, because the loss of them if they pass? Is that what you're saying, Jonathan? And did I miss anything else in the chat? Sorry about that. So I just want to put some people's minds at ease, because a lot of people come on here and they try to say, oh, your husband went to hell because he unalived himself. And it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that at all. That's all just brainwashing of, I won't go there tonight, but it's just brainwashing. I'm going to leave it at that. Okay, so what's the next one we want to hop at? The enemy knows what we need and wants to blind us to it. Can you elaborate on that for me? So I kind of know where you're going with that. My kids, siblings, and yes, loss. Okay, right? And here's the thing, like I talk about this all the time too, is, Grief is a tricky thing. We actually talked about grief on here last night. So if you missed my live, you can go over to YouTube to Scorpio Medium and catch that live. And because we did talk about grief. And here's the thing, grief is for us. Grief isn't for them. Like I said, they're at peace. They're okay. They're on the other side. Grief is for us because we mourn that they're not here in the physical world with us, right? Even with our sinful struggles, no hell. Okay, I don't like to go into it. So I've been down a million rabbit holes in the last, probably 8 years. And so we've been brainwashed a lot with a lot of that stuff. I don't want to really go into it. But you might want to, if you're really curious, you might want to look into that sinful struggles, because sin isn't what they told you. I'm just going to leave it at that. And like I said, I am where I am on my journey because I've been down enough rabbit holes to know, and you are where you are, and you're welcome to disagree with me anytime. I'm not going to try to convince you otherwise. Like I said, I'm here to, this is my page and I'm just stating my opinion. You're welcome to disagree with me anytime. I'm not pushing my belief onto anyone. Like I said, we just agree to disagree here. And if you can't do that, hop off and scroll on. Mm-hmm. But you might want to look into St. Augustine, because he's actually the one that came up with sin, and then it was adapted by the Vatican. So it's not what you've been told. And I'm going to go back and read the enemy knows the great healer, and the enemy doesn't want us to know the great healer. Okay. I agree and disagree at the same time. Because I'm just going to leave it there. Thank you for the rose. I appreciate that. If you're just hopping on, tell us who you are, where you're from. If you're not familiar, my name is Renee. I'm from South Dakota. Welcome. No, that hell is a construct of the church, of religion, to keep us in fear. Perfect for tonight's topic. To keep us in fear, or to keep us in line. And that's all I'm going to say on that. And like I said, you're welcome to disagree with me. That is absolutely just fine. I have no problem with that. Like I said, I am on my journey where I am, and you are where you are, and you're right where you're supposed to be. And it is what it is. So, I love everybody, and I love you right where you're at. And if you don't agree with me, I'm okay with that. So, anyway, so what's the next thing we want to talk about? You're so very welcome. Let's see. Do we want to talk about fear of moving on? So here's what I wanted to talk about tonight with that. So moving on, and that can relate to a lot of these other losses, or the other fears, right? The fear of death, the fear of a breakup and separation, the fear of love. moving forward. How do we then move forward from all of these things, right? It's okay to agree to disagree. I agree, and I think we need to learn that again in this country. Do you remember? I'm a Gen Xer. When we were kids, I can actually remember talking to people in my class in elementary school, and we would talk about something and we would have a difference of opinion, and we'd say, well, let's just agree to disagree. And we've lost that in our world now. And like I said, I am on my journey, you are on your journey, and you're right where you're supposed to be, and I'm right where I'm supposed to be. And when the creator, source, God, whatever it is you say or believe, wants to take you to another place in your journey, then it's your time, then that's what will happen. I am where I am, and you are where you are, and I love you right where you are. So anyway, that's my stance. So how do we move forward from all of these things, right? The fear of love, the fear of death, the fear, from divorce or separation. What was the other one? Of the unknown. How do we move forward? First is figuring out, okay, for me, moving forward for me, I'm just going to use me as an example. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. If you're not familiar, my name is Renee. I'm from South Dakota. So as myself as an example, right, I had all of those fears, right? The unknown, my whole world imploded. So I had all of these fears, and I'm like, okay, how do I move forward? And everybody kept telling me, just put one foot in front of the other. And that's what I did. But then you also have to take practical steps. And for me, it was like, okay, I had to figure out, one, who was I? Because now I've stepped out of this relationship that I've had for 32 years that I was, I know now I was highly, highly, highly codependent on. And I had to figure out, who was I? And do I love myself? That's a huge thing for a lot of this and so stepping back into the shadows and going, where are these fears coming from? Like I said, for me, it was figuring out who was I, and if I loved myself, and how to learn to love myself. And there again, if you don't love yourself, you have to step back into a shadow, or what I call the storm, and figure out, okay, why don't I love myself? Where did that stem from? And same with everything else. For me, trust has become a huge issue. The only person my entire life, out of everybody in my entire life, I'm 50 years old, that I ever trusted was my husband. And when he left, he broke that trust. And I'm like, okay, how am I ever going to trust somebody ever again? Right? Perry from Ohio, welcome. Glad to have you here. And so, all of these fears stem from something. So you have to take a step back and go, okay, where's this fear from? Generally, it manifested from something or from someone. A lot of times when we don't love ourselves, it comes from, most of the time, our childhood, unfortunately. Like I say all the time, when things happen to us as a child, when we turn 18, it doesn't just, a door doesn't just go up and go, okay, all these traumas and all these fears and all this stuff doesn't just stop at the door, right? No, it just continues into adulthood, but it just manifests itself into other forms, right? Anger, depression, anxiety, all of this stuff. And so you have to figure out what your fear is and figure out, okay, where does it stem from? And this is the biggest problem, I feel that people have right now, is instead of, they have a fear of diving into where things come from. So it's just easier. Okay, I'm just going to take a pill, right? I'm depressed. Let me just pop a pill. And I'm not saying that this is straight across the board for everyone, right? But I'm saying a lot of times these things, anxiety, depression, that we're popping pills for, are coming from things that we don't want to deal with. If we would just go back and figure out, okay, where does it stem from? Walk through that shadow, walk through that storm, and actually feel it and walk through it, you'll find that that stuff will disappear, because that just, all those things are manifestations of other things from traumas and whatever. Thanks for the badge, Wayne. I appreciate that. Thanks for all the badges, everybody. I feel if I go digging around in the past, it messes me up. It is going to mess you up. I'm going to be honest with you. It's going to mess you up. And that's a good thing. It has to mess you up. And I want you to hear me clearly, Jonathan, on that. Yes, it is going to mess you up temporarily. That's the storm I'm talking about. You have to walk through that storm, sadly. And you have to feel those emotions that come up with it, how it messes you up, right? You have to walk through that. And I guarantee you, once you walk through that storm and you feel those emotions, and you get to a point where, like I've gotten to a point with a lot of my storms, I can go, okay, now I can talk about it, I can think about it, and I don't cry anymore, and I don't have those moments. That's when you're starting to heal. Does that make sense? But you want it to mess you up. Sadly, it has to mess you up. That's what walking in the storm means, is you have to go back. And that's why I'm saying people would rather not deal with those emotions or whatever that's coming up. Sorry, guys, my nose was running from crying earlier. And so sadly, that's what the storm and shadow work is. And a lot of these things, you have to do the shadow work in order to get through them. And does that make sense to everybody? Sorry, I'm way behind here. Anyone else excited? We don't talk about politics here, and unfortunately, I don't want to have to block you. I don't like to block anybody, so please don't post that. That's just my only rule. We talk about healing and loss here. It has no place for politics here. It's nothing personal. We just don't talk about politics here, so kindly don't post anything about that again, or I will have to block you. I can barely breathe, but I believe to face, erase, and then stay present helps. Face. You can never erase it. You have to face it, for sure. You have to face it head on, right? Like I used to tell my husband all the time, my husband's way of dealing with things was, do you see the rug over there? Let's shove it under the rug. Well, eventually when you shove all that stuff under the rug, you're going to trip over the rug, right? And you can only shove it under the rug for so long. You know, a lot of people were like, hey, but I've gotten away with it for 20 years. Okay, but have you really? Because how has it manifested in your life? Alcoholism, drug addiction, like I said, anxiety, depression, fear of whatever. It didn't go away just because you shoved it under that rug. It just like I said, it just manifests itself in other ways. So, you know what I'm saying? Sorry, accidentally clicked on something there. So if you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. Okay, and I kind of gathered that's what you meant, but I guess I meant move past it, not necessarily erase it. I guess it depends on what you mean by move past it. Because like I said, a lot of people, they're like, oh, that's just the past. I'm just going to put it in the past. Okay. Good luck with that. Tell me in 10 years how that worked out for you, right? It, like I said, if it was traumatic enough, you didn't just move past it. Like I said, you just made it into another problem because you didn't deal with it. Meaning facing it head on, dealing with the emotions that come with it, even if that makes you a mess. That's part of it. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. Does anybody else have anything else they want to talk about? Anybody? Thank you for sharing the live. And I cannot say your name. I wish I knew your name. I feel horrible. I know I would slaughter it if I tried. If you're not familiar, my name is Renee. I'm from South Dakota. Welcome. If you're just hopping on, tell us who you are, where you're from. Okay, guys, well, that's pretty much all I have to talk about. Does anybody else have anything they want to talk about tonight? This breakup broke something in me and I'm not quite sure. It's been 3 months. And that's okay. Just deal with your feelings as they come. That's what I would tell you, is just deal with them as they come. You know, and if you've never been on my lives before, this is what I say. You know, have a moment. Just don't unpack and live there. You know, and it's okay to have maybe 10 different moments through the day. Just don't let it ruin your whole day, right? So there's days where things come up that still trigger me, right? Memories, whatever. And that's what I'm talking about. You have to deal with it. And so I have a moment. So maybe I had a moment this morning at 9 o'clock, you know, and I didn't unpack and live there. I just had the moment. And then, as my grandma always said, okay, girlie, have your pity party. Now pull up your big girl pants and let's go, right? And that's what I would do. And I would go about my day. And then maybe I'll have another moment at noon, right? Or 1 o'clock. All of a sudden another memory comes up and triggers me again. And then I have that moment and I deal with it. So maybe you have 5 moments in that day. It's okay. Just don't let that ruin your whole day. Don't unpack and live there. Okay? It's more than okay. Hello. Thank you for the badge. I appreciate that and all the likes. You know, and that's fine. And you're healing. You're going to heal that slowly. And your heart will heal again. You'll put your heart back together slowly. But like I said, just take your time. You know, there's no time frame for anybody. You know, we all heal and we all grieve and we all go through loss at our own speed, at our own process. But let me tell you something too. Don't close your heart off. And I'm just saying this in general. Don't close your heart off to somebody else just because you're still grieving to that person. And I'm not saying maybe necessarily today or tomorrow, but maybe in a month or two, right? It's okay. It's okay, first of all, to not be okay, but it's okay to move forward even though you're still grieving, right? Because you might grieve for the rest of your life. Like myself, I might grieve my husband for the rest of my life. I maybe have a moment. Maybe I won't have a moment every day. Maybe I'll have a moment once a month, right? That's just part of life. Here's my thing, right? People are like, but you're still grieving your husband. You shouldn't be dating. You shouldn't do this. You shouldn't do that. You know what? This is what I tell people. Shut up. You know, and I don't like to be harsh, but I'm going to be harsh for a second. Shut up. Nobody has the right to tell you how to do you. Nobody, right? And just because I'm moving forward with my life, your life, you're moving forward, does not mean you did not love that person. Does not mean you're not still grieving that person. It just means you're moving forward with life. Because guess what? That's life. Moving forward is life. So, don't let anybody tell you that it's not okay to move forward. If you feel you're ready to move forward, but you're still, still dealing with that loss, whether it be death or a breakup or a divorce, it's okay. You do you. That's my new philosophy. If you're not hurting somebody, you're not hurting yourself. You do you, boo. Okay? It's your life. Nobody can dictate to you how to do your life. All right? Good evening. Hey. But it's okay to grieve for as long as that person needs. Exactly. And I think a lot of people were upset because they were like seeing me moving forward and they're like, you mean she's not laying in her bed crying every day for the first year? No, I'm not. Because I don't believe that. One, I don't believe that my husband would want me to do that. And now I talk to him and I know for sure he doesn't want me to do that. And 2, it's my life. I will move at the speed and the pace that I want to. And I feel that I'm okay with. Right? And that's okay. It is okay. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. If you're not familiar, my name is Renee. I'm from South Dakota. Welcome. Does anybody else have anything else, guys? We're pushing my hour mark. Life still continues and he would want that. Exactly. And that's exactly what he told me once I could hear him. He's like, you know what? I just want you to be happy, right? And that's what they all want on the other side. They just want to be happy. And the biggest thing is they want to be included. It's still okay to include him and keep moving forward. That's the way to be. Thanks, Wayne. Appreciate that. Exactly, you know, but you do you. You do you, boo, right? Whatever works for you, you do it. You know, if you're not hurting yourself, you're not hurting anyone else. It's your life. It's your life. And if people don't like it, oh well. You know, what I say all the time, people's opinions of us are none of our business. So don't worry about it. You just do you. Life still continues with pain. It does, you know, and sometimes the pain eases, right? There's things that we can do to work on ourselves, to help ease the pain, right? Oh, thank you. I don't know if I rock, but thank you for that anyway. I appreciate it. I have no idea. My dad died of cancer and I celebrated because it's his punishment for beating me. Okay, well, I guess that's a way to look at it. Just know when they get to the other side, they see things completely different, right? They see things differently. They have there's different beliefs once you're over there, so to speak, for lack of better terms. It doesn't work like Earth works for us. Our world works for us. Okay, well, you're welcome to believe that. Like I said, I'm not here to change anybody's mind. You're welcome to believe what you believe. Okay, guys, anybody else have anything else? All people will bow down to King Satan. Okay. If that's your belief, I'm not here to change your belief. Like I said, I believe on this page we agree to disagree, so I just disagree with you. And okay. That's it. Like I said, you're welcome. You're welcome to believe what you believe. I'm not here to argue with you. I am where I am on my journey and you are where you are, and obviously you're in a place of everything is, you know, punishment. I don't believe life is about punishment or death is about punishment. I don't believe any of that. Okay. I do ask though that you be respectful. If you're going to disrespect me or anybody on my page, I will block you though. Okay, that I'm sorry, I apologize. That is just disrespectful. I have no problem agreeing to disagree with anybody, but if you're disrespectful or mean, then you just get blocked, period. That's just my policy. Aw, thank you. I wish there was a way that I can delete comments also. Okay, guys. Well, I'm right about my hour mark. Does anybody else have anything else they want to add or talk about tonight? Anybody? Going once? Anybody have any questions about what we talked about tonight or anything? Anyone? That you're not sure if there's something I said? Anything? Okay, well, if nobody else has anything else they want to add tonight on that note, a couple things I need to go over, like I said. So I do have a YouTube channel. If you're not familiar with that, it's Scorpio Medium. And you can find my email. I have 2 emails over there and I have 2 emails here. They are Scorpio Medium 74 at Yahoo, Scorpio Medium 74 at Gmail. So if you're interested in booking a channeling session with me, you can email me at one of those and you can set that up. If you're not familiar, if you miss a live and you would like to catch the replay, you can go over to my YouTube channel, Scorpio Medium, to catch those. Like I said before, I'm usually here Sunday through Wednesday. is where you can find me live. If I'm usually not here by 7:20, 7:30, I'm probably not going to be here. Sometimes I have to babysit my grandson last minute. You know, babysitter backs out, grandma's the backup plan. So that's pretty much my spiel for the night. I hope y'all have a great night. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for all the hearts, all the likes. I appreciate you all very much. If anybody has any questions or just needs somebody to talk to, remember you can message me. On that note, I hope y'all have a great night. Remember to make tomorrow great because it's a choice. And I'm going to say until we meet again.